I'm going to do this video really quick so that I can go and get Zozo. This day is already over. It's crazy. But anyhow, downtown update. It's been a while since I've talked about downtown Tacoma. I wanted to do an update because things have changed. One question would be what's going on with the downtown Tacoma, or actually the Tacoma Town Center? Don't know. That project has stalled. And I'm going to talk about two others that have stalled as well. But that project has completely stalled, and we don't know what's going to happen. Now, supposedly, the company, Galena Equity, is looking for funding. But all the things they're supposed to do with the city, a lot of those permits and things have expired. So we don't know what's going to happen. I wish that, again, like other projects here, there's another one, Old City Hall, for example. To me, there should have been a different developer. It's moving forward, but crawling along, right? It's crawling along. But to me, the city makes horrible choices when it chooses developers for projects like this. So that means in the future, there's a fear that if something, again, it goes back to why I said we need a strong mayor. When you have all these different people who are sitting here making decisions, it just doesn't work out well. Having a strong mayor, in my opinion, would make a lot better sense, and this is one of those. We have a lot of local developers who could have all kind of worked together to create the Tacoma Town Center. It could have been something that truly is a mall, and it could have contained offices as well as residential. To be honest with you, the project should be built in a series of towers as opposed to these mid-rise things that you commonly see. If you go to other places and you look at developments that they've done, they are noticeable. To me, it should be anchored by 4 or 5 towers. 4 of them, if we're talking about 4 to 5, 4 of them should be residential with 1 being office, or 3 residential, 1 office. The office space should be somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 to 150,000 square feet. That's kind of the sweet spot for a lot of the bigger companies that are looking for Class A office space. They also want to have good parking. A lot of times you have one but not the other. And we don't really have a lot of Class A office space here, which is a detriment to us. So when people say, how come there's no Amazon? We don't have Class A office space. How come there's no Microsoft? We don't have Class A office space. Now, we could make those things happen, but it requires typically remodels like the Tacoma Center, which is a Class A office building, but they're the only ones. So a lot of them come close, but they're not quite Class A. The town center, in my opinion, could have 3 residential towers or 4, various different heights, one being 15 stories, maybe have one that's 12, another one that's 10 stories tall to give some height to it, and then put in a, 15 to 20, 25-story office building. I would also have in the middle of that basically entertainment and restaurants and shopping. Because a big reason why retail struggles is because there's no anchor. And if you have some sort of entertainment type of zone, again, if we have a strong mayor, you could do this, where you could lure in big entertainment type companies, Meow Wolf type companies, experiences. You anchor that down there, and then you have other shops and stores and places where businesses can thrive. And you intermix them. You have a section where you have several series of local retailers. You may have a few spots here and there for national retailers and national chains, right? I was working on a project to get a pretty well-known restaurant into downtown, right? And then those plans got derailed, but they were thinking about it, and they still might. Okay. So, I don't have to get Zozo Noel's getting there. I was reading that. So, the reality is that downtown, the town center could be a lot of things, but we've failed on that. I think A lot of that should be parking. I think you should have 1,000 spaces of parking. I think you should have the ability to house about 1,000 units of apartments. I think the original plan called for 200,000 square feet of retail. I agree with that assessment. And then, like I said, 100 to 150,000 square feet of office. That's what I would think would be great, but it's stalled. Another project that has stalled is the interurban building that's downtown, which was going to be called Tacoma Tower. And it has what is called Oxford Market, which is the food hall. 13 eateries are going to go into that. That project has stalled due to financing. Now, again, I look at this project and say, there's things that could have been done maybe ahead of time to do certain things, not go all in all at once. I don't understand why businesses, if a project's $100 million, they try to go for all 100 million instead of working in phases. Don't understand that. Pick a poison. Either you work on the residential first, or you work on the food hall portion first, but not both at the same time. And I understand sometimes financial instruments and all those types of things and all the stuff makes it where you have to, but that would be a situation where you pick your poison. Work on one, really work that in, get the financing for that, and then work on the other. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, you wait until you're able to do so. But this is a situation where it almost happened and then it kind of has stopped because of lack of funds. Point Ruston's another area where the whole developer, there's an issue there, but also there are certain pieces that are supposed to be developed and they haven't. Things are getting sold left and right over there in terms of buildings, because again, some of these developers don't have the money they claim that they have, or they have overstretched the money that they have. Some of this is greed, some of it's projecting false power. Say, look at what I'm building. And in reality, it's all money that other people actually have, and you're just basically borrowing the money. Using, your own clout to say, look, I've done all this stuff. We are seeing it even on with politics, claiming you have more than what you really do, and you really don't. And then when it comes down to it, people are like, well, we trust that you have the money, and it's like, nope, they don't. I don't know all the details over in Ruston, but it's a shit show, right? When it comes to tracks, which is over in the Dome District, also lack of funds. Now, it has went from the developer to the institution that financed it, and they finished the podium section of the building. So the concrete work's done. All they got to do is build I think it's 5 stories of wooden structure. I don't understand why the hell they're not doing that. And they're waiting to see if they can sell what's there to somebody else. Most developers are not going to want to buy something that is your vision. Meaning that the whole footprint of this pedestal has to pretty much look like the building that was created by the original developer. But just because the way it was designed, it's not like it's vacant land. This is already, you've laid out the foundation, so they have to build it. So if you are the one that finances it, why not go ahead and finish the damn thing and be done with it? Then you can sell the whole building. I just don't understand that. If you got all that money, why not just say, you know what, let's take out another, 20 million towards this building, build the damn thing, and then when the time is right, you could sell it for much more than what it costs. But meanwhile, it's just sitting there deteriorating because the weather we have here, all it takes is for some of that concrete, which is fresh, brand new concrete, but it's still not as strong as my steps out here are old as hell. Trust me, I try to drill through them with the concrete drill bit. Bruh, I burned out the drill, tore my hands up. Not really, but they felt like pork chops. And then a friend of mine, he's got one of those big boys, and he was able to go through and do it, but the concrete here is strong as hell. Why? Because the concrete's old. It's seen some things. Concrete's probably older than me, by far. So this is fresh concrete. There could be hairline cracks, which will get water in them, it will freeze and then pop. And you don't have people saying, let's build the damn thing and get it over with. It's sitting there as an eyesore. My concern is it's going to be an encampment soon because it's not far from where the encampments were. Literally, I mean, it's right there. I don't understand that. Another project that is getting started, but we're not quite sure of, is there was an area there close to Freight House that basically had a bunch of old warehouses and things like that. It burned down because there was an arsonist that was going around burning stuff. They burned that building and they tried to burn down Freight House, but it was stopped at Freight House. But the warehouses were burned down, and the developer had already slapped a sign up there what building they were going to put up there. Well, when the fire happened, it got rid of all of that, but the building is a monster. It's a huge area. We're not quite sure if that project's going to move forward or not, but they did do some site work, move some stuff around, all of that. I'm thinking probably, again, finances, right? Now, 2 projects are going up right now. I should say 3. One is, and then we're going to talk about retail here. One is the, I don't know the name of it. I think it's called S something. Both of the buildings are called S something, and it's actually being developed right now in the Dome District. They're pretty much working on the exterior and interior. They built all the lateral work currently, right? That's an apartment building. Right adjacent to it on another street, but where both buildings can see each other, is the other S building. And they're already putting in the dozer there to knock that down. It's pretty much vacant land. There used to be an old sheddy warehouse thing that has fallen down. I believe it was burnt before. An old brick wall is there, but part of it's knocked down. So it's not like it's going to take a lot to do the work there. They're digging that up, and more than likely, once this building gets finished, they're going to start work on that one. And this is a company, I forget the name of it, but they're putting in 2 buildings kind of at the same time. And that seems like that's a go. So one's almost mostly completed. I'm going to say probably 75%. And then they're going to be working on the other. Cornelius House is actually going up downtown, and that thing is pretty much done. The developer is already working on the next building, which is going to be adjacent to it. All of this is in the Dome District, and it's going to be a colossus. It's going to hold, I believe, close to 300 or 400 apartments. One of them, Cornelius House, holds 200 or 300. I can't remember right now. Either it's 199 or 299. I think it's 199. So 200 units. The other one's going to hold about 300 units. So you have about 500 units there available. So between those 2 buildings, you're talking over 1,000 people can live there if you do the multiplier. And that's all in the Dome District. It's insane the amount of development that's still going on in Tacoma, and there's others that are going on. But I don't want this video to be 1,000 minutes long. Flat Stick Pub. Now, Flat Stick Pub a few years ago said, we're coming to Tacoma. This was before they announced Spokane or any of that. And it didn't happen. So we were wondering what the heck's going on. Hadn't heard anything. It was out of the newspaper. Then eventually they removed Tacoma from their website. Recently we were told, nope, they bought that building that was there. They're working on the building. They took down the awning, and Flat Stick Pub is coming to Tacoma after all. If you don't know what Flat Stick Pub is, go to their website, but basically it's a company that has a lot of adult games on the inside where you can play, and they're created by the company, right? So these are bar games that you can do, and typically use a putter to do these different types of indoor golfing type games. And so they're finally coming to Tacoma, but they've already developed in many other places. And at one point in time, this would have been their largest one. Now, not so much, but it seems like they're coming. Probably it's going to take them up until this time next year to probably open, just depending upon the amount of work that they have to do. Don't know, but it's going to take some work. And then finally, Kelly's Olympian. Kelly's Olympian, again, it's been taking some time for them to open, but because of all the other interior work that they're doing, trying to open it up for other types of businesses that are going in there. So Kelly's Olympian is one of the oldest bar, if not the oldest bar in Portland. One of the developers moved up here, and they're putting the Kelly's Olympian in. Now, this will have a concert venue. I believe it's going to be smaller than what they had mentioned prior when they first started. But basically, it's going to be a sick place. And so it's going to be coming in relatively soon. Again, I'm thinking probably will open this time next year. So probably May of 25, because it's 24 now. So anyhow, tell me what your thoughts are. This is kind of the updates for downtown. I do wish that there was more stuff going on downtown, more development, more projects. But we just have to kind of see what happens. I think, again, we have to have the right leadership downtown. And I think some of the organizations that are in charge of some of the stuff they've done, I think have really just dragged their feet for so long that it is kind of commonplace. People are expecting more. There's not the vitality that we need. I mean, businesses are doing a lot of the work. I mean, a lot of what you see is due to the school system, because SOTA is downtown and there's also another school that's downtown. So you see a lot of that. You see where businesses are taking the chance and they're putting in various different things, from art galleries to clothing stores to different things, eateries. But we don't have enough of a momentous push from the city and organizations that are in charge of downtown to say, let's bring in and let's headhunt and bring in the companies that can act as anchors, retailers that can act as anchors. Gene Juarez can't do it by themselves. There has to be the city's approach to helping make that happen, and it can easily be done. If someone knows it can be done, it's myself. It can easily be done, right? So I think having a better set of leaders is the first step. Because businesses, and it doesn't matter how well financed those businesses are. You can bring in Apple and Amazon, and still it's up to organizations that run certain segments, and it's up to the city to make sure that they're putting in the infrastructure that they need. They're putting in all of the livability things that people need. And right now, downtown is lacking those livability pieces. Do I think they will come? Yes. But they need to come a lot sooner, and it can't just, all the weight can't just be on Metro Parks. They can only do so much. Anyhow, tell me what your thoughts are. City's growing pretty quickly. Pretty quickly. Not as fast as a place like Bowling Green, Kentucky, but it's growing here pretty quickly. Tell me what your thoughts are. Until next time, I will see you. Take care.